Look, I'm the first to admit it. I would be a terrible single father. I promised maybe 3 weeks ago that I'd do a follow-up meme video to Can the Right Meme, which creatively would be Can the Left Meme. But we couldn't find any, so we kind of just dropped it. But so many of you have been going, you promised! This is just like when my dad said he'd take me to the zoo, and he never did. And the reason we didn't do it is because, like how everyone was pointing out in the comments when they were going, these are boomer memes. You don't know shit about memes. Go on this Reddit page that I specifically like. No, I will take this to my grave. Memes that are not trying to be funny and don't get the point of being a meme are the funniest memes of all. And we were trying to find left boomer memes, couldn't find them anywhere, so we've had to settle for anti-vaxxer memes. Now, I'm going to admit something here. I've done zero research into anti-vaxxing because I don't have any kids and I don't care if they get measles. In fact, I would prefer if they got measles so I gave them something to complain about in the mall instead of crying about nothing. Can they convince me that vaccine causes autism? Let's find out in the most stylish, friendly Geordie's way possible, dressed as a rich housewife. Who they finally have a job. You know how they're always going, homemaker? No, just call yourselves professional anti-vaxxers. It's your calling in life. And today's meme selection is a smorgasbord of sites. We have Healthy Alternatives to Vaccinations by Dr. Nancy Tarlow. She appears to be 5 years old. Must have started her degree inside the womb. Vaccine Resistance Movement, VRM, updates and news from the trenches. Well, the name gets an Asian dad point. And of course, Anti-Vaccination Australia. And this is how memes are done. Forget your Pepes and that feels guy whose name escapes me again despite the abuse, the hurls of abuse that I got for forgetting his name. This is how it's supposed to be. No joke at all. Another Asian dad point. And just as an index, I suppose, in the beginning of a video, so not a book even, CDC, when they refer to it in these memes, is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So what, they're just going to pretend that they don't have a P in there, are they? Fucking abbreviations. So the first meme is an evolutionary chart saying, more of this. And then it goes into some extremely enlightened human being, way more enlightened than any of those stoners Joe Rogan gets on his podcast. Spiritual boss. I like how that's the very next phase after being, not that far away from a Neanderthal as well, just being an Indian god. And less of this. Evolving into sheep. Asian dad point. Who did this, Alex Jones? When you say something important and all you get back is that fluoride stare. No, Asian dad point. Do we even need to keep going? It's already proven 2 memes in, the left can meme. I tell you what, as a mum who moved from the northern beaches to Byron Bay for a tree change, this one really hits home. If you think it's childish to believe in Santa, just remember there's adults that believe the Herald Sun. I've seen it too many times. Look, I'll be honest. This one gave me a feels because I'm at that stage in my life where I now think that the Herald Sun is such a joke in itself that it's gone full circle and I'm sitting there going, oh, no, just good sports commentary. First breath, so it's time for your hepatitis B shot. Oh God, that poor baby. We don't want your folks recognizing the distinct neurological regression in approximately 8 weeks' time. Feels. I vaccinated my kids and they're fine. Starter pack. Oh yes, a starter pack. The diamond of memes. Eczema, ear infections, type 1 diabetes, constantly sick, allergies. It's not even a real person, that's a cartoon. That is such a cheap trick. That is just like when you see those really cheap Danos Direct ads where they go, as you can see, normal vacuum cleaners only take up 50% of the little particles, but this one takes a whopping 60%. The coalition government, no jab, no pay is working because I and other politicians have major shares and interests in pharma companies and my wife is CEO of Prima Biomed. The more you get jabbed, the more we get paid. Really makes you think. But look, this is the thing. Regardless of the divide, it seems like the only person on earth who likes Malcolm Turnbull is Lee Sales. Dahl represents how many vaccines a child receives by age 2. Any questions? Yes, I have a lot of questions. I don't remember getting that many shots. I think I got 1. Is my mum an anti-vaxxer? 32 people get sick from E. coli. All lettuce gets pulled from the shelf. 40,000 kids injured from vaccines yearly. Nobody bats an eye. Oh, that poor baby. Look at how many needles it's going in. Bubba, it's just no. I can't stand for this. Feels point. That's really disturbing image. I'm not talking about the baby either. Just that lettuce being bundled like that. It's a living thing. Jesus. I don't know if I'm Should say this, but maybe after 5 years of owning this wig, it's probably time to wash it. Every doctor after poisoning thousands of children. Well, it made me smirk. I don't know if that warrants an Asian dad point. Maybe a slightly less good meme. A one successful black man. Yes, they're using the socialism meme. Compulsory vaccinations. An idea so great that it has to be forced on you by the state. It's such a weird coalition of who anti-vaxxers are. It seems to be Alex Jones's fans and hippies that have done too much acid. But they're pretty much the same. They both hate fluoride. They both think that the government has a cure for AIDS. They both hate vaccines. All those Byron Bay mums are just 3,000 KFC 21-piece feeds away from being Alex Jones. Your baby needs the hepatitis B vaccine in case he shoots up heroin with a prostitute. There is nothing better than when anti-vaxxers or flat earthers are smug. Asian dad point. Vaccines is safe. My farmer-sponsored TV tells me so. 2 for 2. Another Asian dad point. The smugness. I hate thinking, me too. Let's trust our government, okay. But look, the thing is, that photo is pretty much that footy player and his wife who are anti-vaxxers. You probably could have chosen a better pin-up. Just because I don't like your post doesn't mean they don't see them. Keep planting seeds. Their subconscious mind is awake, even if their conscious mind is asleep. People who aren't woke, who think they're really woke. Asian dad point. See, I'm telling you. Serious memes is where the comedy gold is at. You aren't sick. You're being poisoned! Damn, I am breaking the conditioning with these memes. It's all a lie! This hair is a lie! And then they said we're a threat to all of society because we haven't been inoculated. Asian dad point, that is the worst meme I've ever seen in my life. 2 Asian dad points, it's too good. Me, an anti-vaxxer, realizing people traded the risk of a mild infection for lifelong disabilities. This has been the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals, maybe ever. Asian dad point. How could it not be when Trump's involved? And I don't mean that in the same way that these people are like, Trump. Actually, yeah, I kind of do. I don't know, it's just, he's a clown and a comedian at the same time. He's just a joke machine. How much better is one of his hour-long speeches than 99% of the stand-up shows on Netflix? Your child turned autistic after vaccinations? Coincidence. That is just a coincidence. Asian dad point. So who's your pediatrician? Well, since my bub isn't vaccinated, he never gets rashes or fevers, has a great appetite, and usually sleeps right through the night. So I don't need one. Dude, we've broken the parameters again. That is the worst meme, and we just saw the worst meme 3 memes ago. We're at the 7th layer of meme hell here. And right in there is one of those feels guys. I'm never saying his name, mostly because I can't remember it. When you're trying to fit in at a social gathering and people start talking about flu shots. I've been there. CDC picks flu strains for this year's flu shot. How am I doing this year? CDC flu shot lab. I'm sick of these cartoons that are trying to rip off Gary Larson's style. They're always really shit, and you see them just littered throughout news agencies. And of course this appeals to this woman, doesn't it? Just, it's funny because no one's really getting hurt. No Asian dad points for that one. I know exactly what the comments is going to be. It's going to be 90% of people just going like, anti-vaxxers, and then 10% of people who have done heaps of research into bogus science reviews sitting there just being like, fact, over and over and over again. Can't wait for that. Bring it on. That's where the real entertainment is going to be, below. In case you want to know what my stance is on vaccinations, obviously I'm not the most read person on the subject, but I would assume that when we started vaccinating kids and how measles went down, it was a good idea, and now that people aren't vaccinating their kids, and always really hot mums as well, they're always the anti-vaxxers. Every MILF you ever see, all of them in Brazzers definitely have not vaccinated their kids. Now measles is going up again, so I'm assuming that that's related, but then again, I suppose that's the same as when they're always just being like, it's linked to autism. But again, there is so many papers disproving that. No measles, now there is measles. Get your kids vaccinated, unless you want them to die of diseases that should have been wiped out in the 19th century. Like, do you want your kid dying of the same thing that a chimney sweep did? There's probably a couple of mums in there to be like, it'd be so cute if they looked like Oliver. Yes. Don't forget to spread the contagion and like it so it shares around and goes viral.
Please share and comment below. Comment.